You ever get that feeling like you're drowning in information? Constantly reading, watching, listening, but never really getting to the heart of it.
It's like we're all on this content treadmill, right? Just consuming, but not actually absorbing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're all about here on the Deep Dive. We cut through all that noise and pull out those nuggets of wisdom, those real insights that can actually make a difference in your life.
And the best part is, today we're diving into a topic you specifically requested.
That's right. We got a ton of recommendations to check out the ebooks by G. Anthony Smith, the whole Gerard's Awakening thing and his YouTube channel, Knowledge is Freedom.
Seems like he's really struck a chord with a lot of people.
Definitely. And you all specifically flagged 3 books: The Island Paradox, The $1 Million Nobody, and Unplugged. So we've dug into those, along with some related materials.
So are we ready to uncover those aha moments everyone keeps talking about?
Absolutely. Let's start with The Island Paradox. The setup alone is just wild. So picture this. You've got this group of ultra-wealthy elites. I'm talking top of the food chain, right?
Think CEOs, investors, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. And they're gathered on this super luxurious island retreat, the kind where money is no object. But then, boom, a catastrophe hits.
Yeah.
And it's not just some minor inconvenience. It wipes out their fortunes entirely.
Talk about a reality check. Suddenly they're fighting for survival, stripped of all those comforts and privileges they took for granted.
It really makes you think about what truly matters when you're forced back to the basics. And Smith doesn't hold back in creating these really dynamic characters to drive that point home. We've got Daniel Mercer, the ruthless tech CEO, Victoria Langley, the ice-cold CFO who always seems to be in control.
Don't forget Eli Brooks, the venture capitalist, always on the hunt for the next big risk. And of course, Rafael Vega, the powerful oil magnate. He's actually the one who seems to have orchestrated this whole island experience, almost like a social experiment, right?
Oh yeah, totally. There's Sophia Alden, the socialite and philanthropist, Jack Sullivan, who built his empire from scratch, and Natalie Price, the marketing guru. And then there's Oliver Grayson, the eccentric investor who's always a bit of a wild card.
It's like a microcosm of the whole high-stakes world they come from, just with the stakes raised even higher.
So what happens when you strip away all that wealth and power? Their true colors start to show, right? Those carefully constructed facades crumble, and you see their raw instincts come out.
Yeah, you see who they really are when the chips are down, and it's not always pretty. Take that scene where they're rationing fish, for instance. These are people who used to have everything, and now they're literally fighting over scraps.
It really highlights that primal instinct for self-preservation.
Yeah.
Even among people who are supposed to be sophisticated and civilized.
Makes you wonder how much of our cooperation is just based on the convenience of having enough to go around.
Absolutely. And then you've got Mateo, who kind of emerges as this unexpected hero. What's interesting about him is that he's not some outsider. He actually has a background in finance, so he gets their world. But he's chosen to live differently, more simply.
He's got this practical knowledge and self-sufficiency that they all desperately need now. It's like he's a living embodiment of the lessons they're forced to learn.
And it's fascinating to see how they react to him. Some resist, like they can't believe this guy who lives off the grid could possibly have anything to teach them. But others, like Sophia Alden, really start to see things differently through his eyes.
Her transformation is really something else. She goes from this wealthy socialite, who might have done philanthropy more for appearances than anything, to someone who is actually getting her hands dirty and learning how to survive. There's that powerful scene where Mateo's teaching her how to start a fire. It's almost like a metaphor for her finding this inner strength she never knew she had.
Yeah, and their relationship seems to be a big part of that shift in her perspective. You can really see her questioning everything she thought she knew about wealth and happiness.
And let's not forget about Rafael Vega. Turns out, he kind of orchestrated this whole thing on purpose. He's got these really profound lessons about the value of time and how true wealth is so much more than just money. It's about freedom, it's about making a real impact, and it's about the connections we have with others.
Yeah, he forces them to confront their own mortality and really assess what they want their legacy to be. And in the end, they're faced with this choice: go back to the world they came from, or take these hard-won lessons and forge a new path.
Some, like Jack, just can't let go of their old lives. They crave that status and power. But others, like Sophia, seem to have genuinely changed. They found something more meaningful and fulfilling.
So to sum up the island paradox, it's all about redefining wealth, isn't it? It's about realizing that material possessions are fleeting, but the skills and connections we cultivate are what truly matter in the long run.
Absolutely. It's a story that really challenges us to reevaluate our priorities and think about what kind of legacy we want to leave behind. Ready to jump into the next book?
Let's do it. The Million Dollar Nobody takes us on a completely different journey, this time into the world of Hollywood. We meet Bosworth, a once successful movie producer who's fallen on hard times. He's desperate for a hit, so he comes up with this idea for a contest.
$1 million for the best movie idea, right? Talk about high stakes.
Exactly. And this is where we meet our protagonist, Jace Carter. He's just an average guy working a regular job, but he's got this passion for writing. He's been self-publishing his work, just trying to get his voice out there.
Classic underdog story. You're instantly rooting for him.
Oh, totally. And one day, by pure chance, Bosworth's assistant stumbles upon Jace's book. It's like this raw, authentic story that completely blows them away. It's the kind of originality that's missing in a lot of Hollywood movies.
But of course, things are never that simple, right? Especially in Hollywood.
Nope. Turns out, Bosworth's team is in on this whole scheme to rig the contest. They want to pick a winner they can control, someone who'll play by their rules.
And Jace, with his fresh perspective and genuine talent, is a threat to their whole plan.
Things get pretty crazy from there. There's a fake winner announced, attempts on Jace's life, and he ends up having to go on the run with Lena, who was initially part of the scheme, but eventually switches sides.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure. And at the heart of it all is this battle between authenticity and artificiality. Jace's story represents this raw, genuine voice that the Hollywood machine tries to silence.
It makes you think about how often creativity gets stifled by those in power who are more interested in profits than in originality.
But in the end, Bosworth has a change of heart. He sees the truth and realizes what a huge mistake he's made. He offers Jace not just the prize money, but a real partnership, a chance to bring his vision to life.
And it's awesome to see Jace's success. He uses his platform to champion all the nobodies out there, the people with dreams who are often overlooked.
It's a powerful message about the importance of believing in yourself and not giving up on your passion, even when the odds are stacked against you.
So the $1 Million Nobody is all about the power of authenticity, the courage to take risks, and the importance of persevering in the face of adversity.
Exactly. Now, for our final deep dive, we're tackling a topic that's incredibly relevant today. Unplugged. Reclaiming your mind in the digital age.
I'm sure we can all relate to this one on some level.
Oh, absolutely. This book takes us to a future where digital addiction is rampant. Everyone's constantly connected, glued to their devices. It's a world that's starting to feel eerily familiar, right?
Yeah, more and more every day. And at the center of this story is Jackson Rivers, a teacher who's trying to warn his students about the dangers of this constant connectivity. He sees how it's affecting their ability to focus, to think critically, to just be present in the real world.
But his message isn't exactly well received, is it? Especially by Amanda Wolf, this teenager who's completely absorbed in social media. It's like she can't imagine life without her phone. It really highlights how deeply ingrained technology has become in our lives, particularly for younger generations. And the book doesn't shy away from exploring the addictive nature of social media. Those algorithms are designed to keep us hooked. The notifications, the likes, the endless scrolling, it's all engineered to hijack our attention.
Then things get really interesting when there's this emergency digital blackout. It forces everyone offline. Cold turkey.
Talk about a wake-up call. And it's fascinating to see how people react. They experience actual withdrawal symptoms, anxiety, irritability, even physical discomfort.
It's like their whole world has been turned upside down. And meanwhile, Jackson is writing a book about all of this, trying to expose the truth about digital addiction and the forces that are profiting from it.
But he quickly becomes a target, right? The school administration tries to discredit him, and there's this whole online campaign to silence his message.
It shows how powerful those who benefit from our constant connectivity are willing to fight to maintain the status quo.
But amidst all this, Amanda starts to have a real awakening. Reading Jackson's book and experiencing the blackout firsthand makes her realize how much she's been missing out on by being glued to her phone. So she decides to try a digital detox, a full 7 days off the grid.
And it's not easy, but it's ultimately a transformative experience for her. She starts to reconnect with herself, with nature, with real human interaction.
And her journey inspires others to follow suit. We see this whole unfollowed movement emerge, people choosing to disconnect and reclaim their time and attention. Of course, this leads to pushback from the controllers, those who want to keep us plugged in.
It becomes this battle for freedom, for the right to think for ourselves and not be manipulated by algorithms.
And the story culminates in this great unplugging, a mass movement where people finally say enough is enough. They choose to prioritize real-world connections and reclaim their mental space. It's a vision of a future where technology serves us rather than controls us.
So what are the key takeaways from Unplugged?
Well, it's a powerful reminder that our minds are our most valuable asset and that we need to be fiercely protective of our attention. The book really emphasizes the importance of self-discipline and conscious technology use.
And ultimately, it's a call to action. It's not enough to just understand the problem. We need to take steps to unplug, to reconnect with ourselves and with the world around us.
Exactly. So we've explored these three very different books by G. Anthony Smith: The Island Paradox, The $1,000,000 Nobody, and Unplugged. What overarching themes do you see connecting them?
Well, they all challenge us to redefine what true wealth and success really mean. They show that it's not just about money or external achievements. It's about inner strength, resilience, the connections we make, and the impact we have on the world.
And they all highlight the power of mindset. The characters are constantly forced to confront their beliefs, question the status quo, and ultimately choose a different path.
And it's not just about individual growth either. These stories touch on the importance of community, of supporting each other, and of fighting for a better future.
Right. So, for you listening who recommended these books, we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought. These stories might be fiction, but they offer valuable insights into the challenges we face in today's world.
They encourage us to think critically, to challenge our assumptions, and to take action to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
And remember, knowledge without action is wasted. So what's one specific step you can take today to apply these lessons to your own life?
We also encourage you to check out G. Anthony Smith's work for yourself. You can find his ebooks, including Gerard's Awakening, on Amazon KDP. And be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, Knowledge is Freedom, formerly at Growth with Gerard, for more thought-provoking content.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing yourself to create a life of true wealth and wisdom.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
For you then.